Hi, this is Mark from SMPostcards again. So today I'm going to go over how I'm organizing that big purchase I did of all those naval ship postcards, approximately 20,000 postcards. How am I putting all that together and going through it and getting it organized? So I thought I would document the journey in a video for the people that are watching. So basically I'm going to go through some things here, and then I'm going to do a walkthrough on where I'm at with it and some of the ideas and some of the ways I'm doing it to make it easier. Now, everybody does things differently. I'm not saying this is the best way. It's just the way I'm wired. It's the way it works for me and some of the things I've learned from the past. Also, stick around to the end of the video. I corresponded with the seller again the other night, and she gave me some history on this collection and how it came about and to being sold, etc. So it's pretty interesting. Now, when you get a big purchase like this, you get a lot of stuff. You're excited. Your first instinct is go through it, get listing, and stuff like that. The best thing I can tell you and recommend is get it secured, get it protected, and stored somewhere, and step back for maybe a day and think about what you're going to do with it and where to start. Now, you can pick out the good items, get your money back and stuff like that if you need to do that. But what I've learned with the large things, the first instinct is to dive in, and you can get overwhelmed pretty quick. So you want to get that adrenaline down and think about it. And also you want to maintain your normal business, your shipping, your regular listing, corresponding with customers, your refunds or whatever, and your family life. You don't want it to take over. Now, with these postcards, I know this is going to take 4 to 7 months for me to go through. So I'll set up some small goals. By the end of this month, I want to do this, by that. But when I look around, I'm the boss. I'm the one setting the goals. I don't report to anybody. Well, my wife. But I'm the one setting the goals. So if you put a line in the sand, always know you're the boss. You run your business. You can change that line, and no one's going to say anything. It's just human nature. So I do have experience with large hauls over the years, and I'm going to walk through here real quick. And now this is on the toy side of things, but it'll give you an idea just on quantity and what I did with it. So here's the first one. This was from an auction. It was about 2,400 action figures. Now, these were pristine action figures, and they were cared for very well, so there was no cleaning, no price tags, take off, nothing like that. So I knew there was minimal work. But you can see on that table, that's just maybe an eighth of what I had. They did the auction in 2 weekends. The first weekend, I ended up buying, I think it was 3 truckloads plus my wife's car full of action figures. And it started to rain a little bit, so we had to get them in pretty quick like that. We didn't damage any of them, but that was the first weekend. The second weekend ended up being just as much or more. But that haul, it took me to sell all of that. I think I sold most of it within 8 months. I sold a lot of it within the first month, but it was constant listing, 20 a day, 25 a day, 20 a day. And then I had to have storage. So that was another big thing. But I organized them by type and stuff like that and got them secured. And then I just worked through them as I went, through the months. The next one here, this was a 25-year collection of anything Star Wars. Taco Bell bags, straws, cups, whatever. And this was 3 hours from my house. It filled up a 17-foot U-Haul, and we had to turn stuff away because I just didn't have room to bring it home. Filled up 2 storage units, and it was just everything Star Wars. Most of it was 80s, 90s, and 2000s. Not a lot of the older stuff, and I deal in the 80, 90, 2000 Star Wars. And I learned so much from that. That took about a year or so to sell everything. Now, there were some really high-priced items in there that I picked out as I was going through it, and I listed those and sold them. I got my money back on that one probably in about 4 months. Now, this next one, my last haul before the lockdown, I got this probably about 2 months before the country went in lockdown. This was a house that the guy bought out KB toys or bought toys. He loved dinosaurs, and he would just toss them in here. Here's a picture of one of the rooms. It's all the way to the ceiling, just stacked with action figures. And here's the other room. It's coming out the door. This was a hoarder's house. I mean, there was no electricity in the house, no heat, no conditioning thing. So the packaging on a lot of the things around the top of the pile and stuff was not good, and the stuff on the bottom was crushed. I bought like a room and a half in the garage of this house. And when this took me through lockdown. So I had 2 storage units full, plus my other storage unit of this. And it got me all the way through, so I had all the stock. I just opened up the packages, got rid of the package, and sold the figures loose. And sometimes I can get more money when they're loose, because people like to display them. They're always afraid to open them. But that just goes to show you how much work was in that one. It was a lot of cleaning, a lot of garbage had to be thrown away, a lot of things were not salvageable. But the first one I showed you with the action figures, that was pristine. I hardly had any work. The bottom one I got for maybe 1/8 of the price of the top one. The Star Wars one, very good deal. But that just goes to show you some of the experience I had on that side of the house. Now, when we get into how am I working this one, postcard. Postcards is a lot different. I don't need the storage units. They all fit in my basement. Postcards, that 20,000 postcards is a huge lot, but it's not as big as 20,000 toys. So the first thing I did is I sorted. I made piles. Not really piles, but I made stacks. So the first stack I looked for was anything that was easy to list, minimal research, and that was these red boxes. That was these. These are the ones that are already sorted by boat. The cards are already in there. Very simple to list. Basically a dream to list because the names are right on them and everything. So those are going to go first. So I separated all the red boxes. The next one is the prints. Now these prints are a little different. That's these cards that I have in the lot. I have thousands of them. Now these are made out of a lighter stock paper. They're actually printed by this club that had this collection. I have the negatives for these, and they would sell these postcards for years, and then when they needed more they would just print off have some more printed. And these are prints. Now these are bigger than a Continental card, so they don't fit in a Continental sleeve, a 6x4 sleeve, so I have to think about a few things, and you'll see what I did with that. But that's the prints. Now these are going to be second on my list to do because it takes a little bit more research to understand the negatives, understand a print. They're not the original postcard like these, single cards. These are actually prints of the boats. So what can I do with those? The third thing I did is I went through and I found anything that's going to take a lot more research and time. Like miscellaneous items, boxes of loose cards, the box of RPPCs. Those are going to take time. Now they're good money, but they're going to take time. So that's the third thing I'll work on. The next thing I had to calculate is storage. Where am I going to put all these cards? I'm going to have these cards for years. This is not going to sell overnight. These cards are going to be with me for a long, long time. This is not a long tail buy or a short tail buy. This is long tail, as they call it. It takes a while to get this. So this is a gift that's going to keep on giving for years to come. So I got to make sure I don't touch them. One of the things I like to do is I don't like to touch stuff. So if I get an item, I try to minimize the many times I touch it. So these cards need to be, sorted, packed, listed, and stored, and not touch it until I sell it. So how do I do that? Next one is space. I need to have space to put this, storage and space. And I needed supplies for the extra inventory. I'm set up to do postcards. This fits right in. These cards actually fit right into my niche. So the first thing I did, I calculated how many more white postcard boxes I needed. These will hold about 750. It's about 700 sleeve cards, 800 unsleeved they say, but I usually roughly say 600 to make it easy. But I needed some more of these boxes. But how many? So I started off, I ordered 25 just to fill the shelves. The next thing is, where am I going to put these boxes? I don't have the shelf space. My shelves that you're going to see here in a minute, the original 10 shelves are built to hold 40,000 cards. 35 to 40,000 cards. Well, I'm going to be over that with space because of the dividers, sleeves. They take up more space, so I needed more shelves. So where am I going to put those? And I'm going to show you what we did with the shelves and how I rearranged the office. You have to think out of the box here, and I think I did that. So I had to buy some dividers. Dividers are, when I do a postcard now, they're single cards. I list a single card, I put a sleeve on it, and I put a sticker on it because I don't want to put the sticker on the card. That's why I put the sleeve on it, and I put it in the box in numerical order. If you look at our inventory management video, you'll see how I do that. Now with these cards, I might have one card and 150 of the same card behind it. I'm not going to sit there and sleeve 150 cards and buy 150 sleeves. I'm going to put this. These are dividers that fit in these white boxes, and you'll see that in a minute. And I put the number of that card right on the divider on there. Now, I could cut out a piece of cardboard and stick that in the box, but this is flimsy. This is going to, over time, it's going to curl and stuff like that. So I wanted to do it right, and I ordered some dividers for the boxes and put them in there. So the cards, these cards won't be, the ship cards won't be sleeved in the box, but they'll have a divider in front. So I had to order those. Labels. Am I going to use more labels? Probably not. Now the covers. As you saw in the video, I ended up seeing these. Well, I talked, a viewer, Russell, told me what they are. They're naval covers. And what they, I don't know, it just shows how ignorant I am of stamps and other things. I'm so focused on postcards. I've seen these at auctions, but not naval ones, but I've seen first day covers and stuff. I figured it was Stamp World. I don't even deal with stamps. I don't even go down that rabbit hole. Nothing against stamps. It's just I'm so focused on postcards. These are called covers, and the lady told me they're actually canceled on the ship post office. And I have some information at the end of the video that tells a little bit more about this. But these do not fit in these boxes. They're too big. So I had to come up with an idea, a solution for these. Well, with this haul, I got a lot of these red boxes, and these are archive safe boxes, and that's what they were in, and they fit perfectly. So I'm going to save these boxes. So I'm saving a bunch of the red boxes, to, as you'll see on the shelves, to put the covers in. Now another thing is, these covers are single, just like the single postcards. They're going to get a sleeve and on there, but they're bigger than postcard sleeves. So I went out and looked around. They make cover sleeves. So I ordered a pack for testing to see what it is. Now the covers will be done along with the prints. This is my second part of my pile. So I'm not going to get to these right away, but while I'm waiting, I'm doing some investigation how I'm going to do that. So, but these covers, I'll have a video as I learn more. I found some information about them, and I'm going to put together some research, and I'll bring that onto another video so people won't be as ignorant as I am when you see something like that. And I guess I should know what that is doing postcard, but like I said, you don't know everything. And if you try, you'll burn yourself out. It'll blow up. So, but that's what these videos are for, is I'm learning something from a viewer, that what these are, and now I'm getting into another niche, a micro niche of the postcards, and I'll have another thing to sell and to learn on there. So that's what I'm doing with those. Now the prints, like I said, these are a little different. They're bigger than 6x4, so they're going to have to go in a 5x7 sleeve, and a 5x7 sleeve doesn't fit into the best envelope. If you saw my video about the best envelope, it doesn't fit. So I ordered some different next size up envelopes, some sleeves, and do some tests. You know, not a lot on there. They sell sample packs of the envelopes at EchoSwift and stuff. And so I'm testing those to see what I need, so I can, when I get to that point, I'll be ready to order the supplies and be ready for that. Also, in this lot, there's a lot of Continental cards. You know, remember, Continental cards are bigger than standard postcards. I don't do a lot of Continentals, so I didn't have a lot of sleeves. I didn't have a lot of supplies for Continentals, so I had to go out and buy some more sleeves for that on there. So that's the supply part of it. Now everybody's saying, well, why do you do that? Just put them in a box, you'll find them. I don't like to hunt for cards when they sell. So I'm going to put up here a little bit of math. Now stick with me and it'll make sense. Not hard. So say I sell 60 cards and it takes me 1 minute to find each card. Digging through piles or sorting through stuff. That's 1 hour of time. So 60 cards, 1 minute per card to find it. That's an hour. Now, what if I sold 60 cards and it takes me 10 seconds to find it? That's 10 minutes. That's about where I'm at. I'm under that. I'm looking for cards with my system, but I'm under 10 seconds. But these numbers are just used for this demonstration because they're nice, even numbers. So 10 seconds, that's 10 minutes. So I cut it down from an hour looking for 60 cards down to 10 minutes. Now, if I do that 5 times, that's 300 cards. Times 1 minute, that's 5 hours I'm going to spend looking for 300 cards. Now, if I can get my inventory down where it's easier and only find cards in 10 seconds or less, 300 cards will only take me an hour. So I cut it by the fifth. Now, if you go back to my video about calculating what you make per hour, we ended up net $15 an hour. By spending all that time hunting down cards, you've spent $75 of time looking for cards. 5 times 15 is 75. So it's so important with postcards when you get volume, a lot of stuff. If you got to hunt for your inventory, you're spending money. So you want to keep it organized. I don't know. A lot of people do it differently. It's how they wired. I don't tell people how to do their inventory. I'm just showing what I do, and the data covers the explanation. I would rather spend 10 minutes than 1 hour. I don't want to spend my time looking for cards. My cards are all 5 steps away. I counted them before this video. It takes me 5 steps to get to where I'm going to show you in a minute to find my postcards. So everything's right here. The thing is, I needed to set up eBay a little differently. These cards are special. These are naval ship postcards. How do I do that? You know, how do I change it? Right now I got postcard category, and I got every state and a couple other little subcategories. But I wanted these to be in the postcard main category as a subcategory of naval ships. And then underneath naval ships, I wanted to make sure I alphabetized each ship. So this is what I did here, is I just put naval ships as a category under my main postcard category. And then I put naval ships A through E, F through J, K through O, P through T, U through Z. So I covered the whole alphabet. And then other. Those are pictures of boats, you know, blowing up or something like that that didn't have the name. Now eBay says about categories. Right here is what they say, and it's a good tip. Be sure that you have enough listings to make each category meaningful to a buyer. If you only have a few listings in each category, you probably have too many categories. It might be creating a poor buying experience. So say you walk into a grocery store and they have an aisle called eggs, you know, dairy. And you walk in there and they have 2 items in that aisle. The next aisle they have called milk. You got to go through all these aisles to find the cards. So you want to try to categorize them. So I did A through E and stuff like that, just to squish it down. I didn't want to do 32 letters and had them have to hunt. They can look through A through E, then they can look through, you know, the next one, F through whatever. So that's how I did the category. So I built that first, because you need to have your categories when you list the postcards so you can pick them. You can't pick them if they're not there. So that's how I set up the eBay. Now Etsy, I did the same thing, but they don't give you 300 categories in Etsy. So I just said naval ships, and everything goes in one category, because They don't have this something, and I won't have the quantity on Etsy. Also, when I did some test listings, I actually went through and listed some of the cards how I was going to do. Now these are a little different. Look at that. These are 2 cards. They're boats. I don't know crap about boats, just like I don't know crap about stamps. They look the same to me. But if you look on the back, they have the name of the ships, and they're pretty detailed of, you know, what war and stuff like that. So how I usually do it is I would take a stack of postcards like this, I'd scan them all and put them in a folder and just list each one as I go, pick the photo, no problem, because one's a bridge, one's a bird, one's a flower, no problem. I couldn't do that with these. They're already sorted in the box for me. So what I do is I grab one stack of cards, and my scanner is sitting right next to me, and as I list them, I scan that one card to my special folder, and I can pick that one photo from there, and then when I'm done with it, I delete that photo in my folder so I don't double them up. And so that's how I did the test. And after I did about a dozen, I figured out what things I needed to check, like Navy, all these different things in the listing. So then I created a listing template. So now when I go to list a new ship postcard, the template comes up. I just have to, you know, click a few things and put the title in the pictures. So I did that with a listing template, just like I have one for the postcard, just like I have one for the magazine ads. They already got the pricing and stuff in there. Now, multiple quantities of same card. I ran into this problem because some of these cards, you know, this is probably about 40 cards for this one boat, but I had some that had 250, 300 of the same. And I'm never ever have I done a quantity listing and put 300 in there, so I started putting that in there. Well, eBay limits the quantity, the number you can list and the quantity. My quantity was only set for 40,000. So I thought I was going to have to request more or call eBay and say, hey, you know, can you give me some more quantity? Well, I looked the other day, they actually upgraded me from 40,000 in quantity to 80,000. So I'm good. I don't have to call them, so that just saves time. But those are the things you want to think about, is how many things can you list, and are you at a level that you can do that? Now, I've been selling for years, so my level was already okay for listings, but I was worried about the quantity with this. I never had to call them about quantity. I didn't have 300 action figures of the same guy. So that's what we did there. Now, when storing postcards and stuff, you know, anything you have, you want to protect it. And you're going to see here in a minute, where I store the postcards, I know there's no water above me. It's a bedroom. And I know what's in the walls. And right here's a picture. When we built this out, I designed all this down here in our basement. There is no water running there. I know because I've seen the bare walls. And I've seen it put together, so on there. Now, as I walk through, you're going to see where we put new shelves. I needed 5 new shelves. 5 new shelves of these, so I can put 7 white boxes across a 4 foot by 12 inch, 4 foot by 1 foot shelf. And by doing that on 5 shelves, it gives me 35 boxes. And I figured conservatively 600 cards per box with the dividers and the sleeves and other things, and not packed real tight. You don't want to pack these boxes real tight. They'll hold 21,000 cards. So that set of new shelves, 35 boxes, will roughly hold 20,000 cards. Now I have 3 sets of shelves, so I have 15 shelves. Each set of 5 will hold 21,000 cards. Total storage that you're going to see will hold 63,000 cards on there, so say 60,000 cards. But with these prints and these other things, they take a little space. Also, I have to put red boxes up there now and not the white boxes because of the covers and the prints. They don't fit into those other white boxes. So I had to come up with a solution. Looking around, I'm looking on my walls. I didn't want to leave the office. I didn't want to walk out more than 5 steps to do anything. Well, I had a table here that was an L-shaped table connected to my other table. I removed that table. I took a shelf off the wall. I took some other stuff off the wall. All of a sudden, I got room for 5 4-foot shelves. Now I got to find another table to work on in here, but as you'll see, that's what I did. So I thought out of the box to figure out where I'm going to put these postcards to fit into my system. Walk you around. I got to turn some lights on here. It'll be another clip, but I'll show you a few things I did. It won't take too long. But if you watch the other video, you'll see a difference to where I'm at today. And it's been about a week since I got these cards, and now I'm pretty well settling in, working my plan. And once I get back, I'm going to give you a little bit more history about where this collection came from and what they did with it and why they wanted to sell it. So let's go take that walk through. Well, this is where I keep the postcards. Right now, there's 56 white boxes and a whole bunch of the red boxes that I put on the shelves. Over here is box number 1. That is the lowest number. So the lowest number I have is 445. As you go across, the numbers get larger, and they go back over there to box 15 and keep going until you get down to the box down here, and my last number is 467. Now all of this is going to be full of white boxes in there, and they go one all the way across. I ordered some more white boxes to fill this up. Now the problem I had is all the shipped Chrome cards, like these cards here, are going to fit probably over here. But I have all these red boxes. Here's what I was talking about, the prints. These are some of the prints that we have here. Now they're bigger than Continentals and they don't fit in to those white boxes. So I need to keep these red boxes. So right now these are all the prints. We have another 9 boxes of these prints, and I do have a bunch more red ones, as you'll see. So I had to put some more shelves. My original thing was just this, so we just added yesterday these, and you can see the spackling there. We're fixing the holes in the wall from the other shelf on there, but that will hold 20,000 cards. So that's what we did. Now in the front here used to be a table that was like an L. That is now gone, so I don't have any workspace, so I need to find a table that'll fit in there. And also, if you notice, if I walk over here, I can't really see in that top box. Right now I'm using a step stool, but what I will do is I'm going to build a 6-inch little step there that goes along the bottom that I can just step up on and see. But that's future. Right now the step is fine. I had to move my photo for my toys and other things over to there for now, but it works. It's not that big, but that's the whole postcard area in my office now, is what it is. And there's Sal, he sits right next to it. But that's what we ended up in. Those were the new ones, and that was the original. So this will hold 60,000 cards, and it's only 5 steps from my desk. Now let's take a look at what the stack looks like now, what effort I made. So underneath the table is just empty boxes where I'm saving the red boxes, so I don't destroy them as I need them for the other room. But what I did, if you saw the other video, it was just packed in here with stuff. So I organized it. Now all these in the back row here, these are cellophane packages or bulk packages of cards that are in these boxes. And so I put all of those in the back. And what I'm doing first is I'm working on these cards. As you can see, like New Orleans here, there's a ton of cards here. So I'll pull, and that's one listing. Right there's one listing. And right behind it is Newport. So all these red boxes will be done first, and I set these out front. Now this is all cleaned up. Then over here, I just got the drives and stuff, the USB drives. I got the patches and those silver certificates. This box right here, there's 9 boxes of prints in there. And then these 2 boxes are 18 boxes of the red boxes, the Chrome cards. That's all I got left in the spot. This was the table that I pulled out of my office, and I'll sell that at the flea market. I won't get all the money back, but I got years of work out of it, so that'll go, and that'll pay partly for my new table. But this is what it looks like now. So we made headway. It's protected and ready to go. That was the walkthrough. It gives you a good idea where I'm at. And I'll probably do another video here in the next couple of weeks just to give an update, or I'll update on my regular weekly video. If you're new here, every Tuesday I put out a short video of then and now of what a postcard looked like and what they do today. And then on Thursdays, I normally put out a longer, about a 25-minute, 30-minute video of different things, what sold, special topics, definitions, and stuff like that. The history on this collection. The club that had these, that sold them for years, they started to sell postcards to supplement the club's, revenue and stuff like that. The club was Universal Ship Cancellation Society, and it's still active. The club mission involved supporting people who collect postcards from post offices that were located on ships. The ships had post offices so sailors could mail letters from home and receive packages. And I did talk to Jay, the seller, and she's giving me all this information. That's why I'm reading it here. I kind of paraphrase what she said. But these post offices on ship, they're real. They're legit post offices and have a postmark stamps for the ship's office. Some people like to collect letters and postcards that were canceled on these ships. I guess it's a real niche on there. Who knew? I had no idea this was there. Patches are for officers. So these patches that I showed in the video, they're for officers who worked in the ship's post office, she believes, and she believes that little piece there is the postmark on the patch. So I'm part of a military patch group, and when I get to the patches, I'm going to ask them about these. But that's a neat little thing if that's a special patch for the post office people on the ship. But this is my third stack of things. I won't get to these for a little while. The club offered these cards and prints for sale for years. The seller's father housed them in his business, and his staff scanned and organized them. So her father had a business and stuff, and that's when you've seen it coming out of the elevator. That was his business there. Now the club decided to end the sale of these cards, and her father kept all the cards. So the club gave, since they had them in possession, they just said here. They just wanted to get out of it, the club did, of selling cards. Now, after it was taking up a lot of space in their office, the seller is moving on to getting away from inventory-based things and wanting to do design stuff in the biomedical field. Is where her a lot of years, over 20 years experience, so she wanted to get a more design than inventory, so she needed to move these postcards. She just wanted to get rid of them. They're done with them, move them on, and she's glad they're going to somewhere that they're going to be, to people that want them. So the seller is moving on to other ventures and not inventory based, and postcards needed to go. They ended up with me. She put them on sale. She didn't want to do the eBay thing where she put them up. She was focused on other things, so that's why they moved on. Let me get these cards up. I'm starting to list a little bit every day. I'm setting goals for myself, and I've sold about 24 cards already of the Chrome cards, and it's going to take a long time to sell all these cards. These are going to be with me for a while, so I want to make sure I set it up correctly, and that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. So if you do it right, you don't skimp on setting things up for the future, then you're going to enjoy it. If I just kept them in boxes and I had to search, it'd be no fun. But the way I'm setting it up, I should be good for years to come selling. I think I'm going to be selling boats for a long, long time. But everything that what I paid for the cards, and the time to go through it, the time for the material, the time for the shelves, all that's the investment for this buy. So you won't reap your profits until you get all that money back, but you got to get them up and listed, and they're, like I said, a natural instinct to start right away. But I always recommend step back for a couple days, figure out what you got, protect your inventory while you do that, take care of your normal business, and then just work through it. If you got any questions, let me know. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you on the next one.